Big shout to the Ghosts and the Ghostettes. On this episode, we sit down with Mike Ball from the Insanos MC, and we talk about losing your leg and hopping back on tools. We get into the Mike Ball story, and we get into it on this episode of DemonsRow TV. And no, yeah, we ghosting, baby. Big shout to the Ghosts and the Ghostettes. Welcome to DemonsRow TV, the holy grail of MC culture, where we cover everything motorcycle club involved. I'm Sose The Ghost. I'm your host for the evening, and today we sit down with Mike Ball from the Insanos MC, someone that I have grown to call a brother, someone who has inspired many of us with his story, and we're gonna sit down with him and break it all down. But the first thing I want you to do, like we always do on this channel, is to hit me with that pound ghosting, and that lets me know you're alive and well, sitting on tools, doing what you do, or just part of the DemonsRow community, one of my ghosts. Big shout to all my new subscribers. Welcome to the row. Make sure you hit that bell so you get the notifications. Hit the like button. Shout to everybody that's been supporting the DemonsRow clothing. Get your bandanas now. Go to www.demonsrow.com. And this interview is very important to the culture, because there's a lot of people that once they get into an accident or get hurt, they lose it. They give up on life. And Mike Ball is the inspiration, and we're going to break down why. Run it. First and foremost, thank you for sitting down with me. This is an important interview for the culture. Your story is a story that needs to be heard. A lot of people love you. I came all the way out to California to sit down with you. Thank you for sitting down with me. And let's get into the Mike Ball story, the Insanos MC story. Let's start from the beginning. What got you into riding? How long have you been involved with the culture? What's going on with you, brother?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to say that it's my honor, first and foremost, for being on this platform and being here with DemonsRow and DemonsRow community. You guys are absolutely amazing. The support that I've been shown from everyone has been absolutely amazing. The way I got into the culture was, believe it or not, one of my dad's friend who is like a brother, to him, and he was linked up with a whole bunch of these tattoo artists, and these tattoo artists were actually all into the diamond culture, and that was something that I had kind of grown up with, and I knew kind of about the protocol stuff about it, but I didn't know about that side of stuff. I had never been in an MC. For me, it all started when I was a little kid, man, and I'd see my uncles riding bikes and stuff. None of them were into clubs or anything like that, but that's what influenced me to ride, like Harleys, later on in my life. What it really was dirt bikes. Dirt bikes is, I was racing, doing motocross. At a very young age. I can't remember the exact age, but it was maybe 10 years old, 11 years old. And I did that until I was I think I was 17, 18 when I hurt myself pretty good. I actually flipped my bike completely upside down and crashed onto myself. And I said, yeah, I need a break from this. So then when I turned 18, 19, that's when I got really interested in riding, and got my own Harley. It wasn't that much longer. It was when I was 23, I bought my bike. So yeah, that's the time frame of that.
So well, let's get into the accident. You becoming an Insanos MC member. What is the timeline? Because like I said at the beginning of this is going to help a lot of people understand what real brotherhood is about.
Sure.
And rising to power over anything that you go through in life. This interview is so important for that reason. So let me know the timeline of you joining the Insanos and what happened with the accident. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I had joined the Insanos previous to my accident, and I'd been with them for a little while, and what ended up happening, the brotherhood was always there. The love was always there, and I had my accident March 6th of 2021, and that was right after we were riding home from a charity event. And we were giving away food to homeless women and children, and trying to help and feed the community as much as we can. That's when I got nailed by a person that was made an illegal left turn into a housing track, and that was a 90-degree turn over two lanes. And that she apparently made that turn at 73 miles per hour or something like that, according to the police report. And it's kind of crazy how all of this aligns up, because really this is what proves brotherhood, and that's why I'm here today as well, showing this, because this is so important to me, to show the world what brotherhood is all about and what it means to go that extra mile.
Were you wearing a helmet when you were riding?
I was wearing a helmet, yes. Yeah, I was wearing a full face, a racing helmet.
Okay.
So.
And tell me about your cut and everything that went on with it, and how special your cut is, because you still wear the cut that you went down on with the blood stained on it, the blood, the work, the time that you put in to this culture. So tell us about your cut.
Yeah, this is the original leather and also patches that went down. There are a couple that I have actually had put on from, like little tags up here, but the rest of them were all the original patches. Yeah. And including my entire back. The entire back piece is the original. And that's where I did the most damage. Yeah. And also my shoulder blades that you guys will be able to see later on, but you'll be able to see blood all over soaked into my actual cut up here on the very top.
So let's get into that clip now.
These are the original patches, aside from this one and this one on the front. These two were added after the accident, but everything else is the original. Nothing too bad on this side. The only thing that you will see is my left shoulder up here is all blood. The back of it as well, but the only thing that you can really see from the front is the blood on the left shoulder. And then when I flip this over, this is where you actually see kind of the damage. You see, it's not really bad compared to what happened to me, but this is all the blood, the original patches. This whole backside is the original patches. Now we're gonna go ahead and show you guys my helmet. The very first thing that ever hit the ground was my head, and according was the actual curb itself, and that was what actually hit. And luckily for this helmet does not pay me to say anything, but Arai did save my life in that sense by their systems and what they do. Thank God for them. But that is what we're looking at.
So, being that you went through what you went through, talk about the way your club reacted to you going down, because I personally know through my experiences of clubs that I have seen where brothers go down and then they become memories. You never hear about the brother again. Tell me about the Insanos MC. How were you treated when you went through this situation?
I'll tell you the honest truth is nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew at that very moment. Nobody from the club, nobody from the family, nobody knew what was going on. When I went into the hospital and I woke up, I had heard what had happened, and I had received so many phone calls before I'd even woken up. So many text messages, prayers, like everything. What I ended up finding out is during the time that I was, the hardest and gnarliest part about this whole story is that I never passed out. I never passed out when I got amputated. I never passed out. And if you guys don't know, and I really, really did not pass out when I got clipped. Wow. And this person, I didn't mention it yet either, she was 3 times over the legal limit of alcohol, and there's a lot of frustrations with that, that come with that. But no one in the club knew anything about that at that point. Nobody. It was solely just, that was not a topic. So, but everyone was so concerned about me and how I was doing at that moment. And if I was going to make it, and if I made it, how I was going to be able to get through this. You know what I mean? The craziest thing is when I felt that love and that appreciation that, from the very start. But then when all of the evidence started coming out regarding my case, we found out she was 3 times over the legal limit and that she was 74 years old.
What was it like being in that moment? Take us through that moment. You're looking, and did you know that your leg was off? Did you not feel it because of the shock?
Sure. So I'm going to answer this in 2 parts kind of thing. So first of all, I'm going to give you a little bit of perspective on how it happened, so that how it can be understood as a shock rather than like someone making a left turn and then you running into them, which is what a lot of bikers go through. Yeah. What ended up happening with me is this person floored it and made this 90-degree turn, and as I was coming by, she hit me, T-boned me, and hit my leg as I was riding, came and hit the leg down here and chopped that whole bottom part off. So that gives you a little perspective, like she was actually out of my peripheral vision. Like I was just passing her, and as soon as she was no longer there, all of a sudden I just get hit and I went flying.
So let me ask you a question. I've been shot before. When you're shot, you go into shock, you don't feel it. Did you know what was going on? Did you feel it? Was it instant pain, or did you black out? Didn't notice at first? Like, how was walk me through that? Okay, no, I 100% felt 100% of the entire thing until I got forced intubated. So I don't really know medical terms. I'm not savvy with all of that stuff. But all I know is that it's kind of like, I guess, like a forced, it makes you to go to bed. You know what I mean? It's like a forced coma kind of thing. Yeah. And luckily, I wasn't out for that long. They put me out, I think it was like for like a day or something like that, for 24 hours. And then I woke up and I had to recover for X amount of time. You know what I mean? But no, I 100% felt everything that happened. And when I got hit, and to come back to your question, when I went flying and I was in the air, I knew I was messed up right then and there. I knew that if I survived this, it's going to be gnarly. Yeah. That's all I knew. And I was hurting all the way through, because as I was flying, most people don't know this because people all see the leg thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everyone sees the leg. Nobody knows that I broke my scapula. I mean, I damn near broke my back. I mean, there was a whole bunch of things that I've got like screws that I don't know the exact measurement, but I think they're like, no joke, 4 or 5 inches long or something ridiculously long. And believe it or not, I have full, you know what I mean? Like and it's crazy that this only happened, 4 months ago, and I can actually do all of these things.
You know, it's incredible. But the leg thing, right when I landed, I looked down and I saw that I had no leg, and I felt it 100%. And that leg, as I looked down, that very second that I saw no foot, I just said, this is my new life. If I make it through this is my new life, and I have to accept it now. And number two, if I was going to die, I wasn't so insanely worried about that, because I knew that I was doing what I loved anyways. You know what I mean?
Did you get a feeling like you were going to die, or did you know that you weren't?
No, I legitimately thought I was going to die.
Wow.
No, I 100% thought I was going to die. Yeah. No, and you replay the exact scenario a million times over, 1 million out of 1 million chances, that person's dead. I'm telling you, 1 million out of 1 million chances.
Wow.
You're dead.
That's why I believe that you have purpose, and this interview, along with your life in itself, the path that you're on is going to touch a lot of people. So what do you have to say to people that have gone through this and aren't as resourceful as you? Because let's talk about this first. You got back on twos in 2 months, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah,
2 months.
No, it was.
I've never heard of that before.
2 months and like 15 days or something. I don't know. It was it was like 2 months.
You were on the live with us on DemonsRow Live on Church on Sunday.
Yeah.
And you said your leg was off, and we were just talking the other day, and it was like you were tuned in, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, and the whole community is going crazy, and you know, because they love you, and it's like, it was amazing to me, your resolve, like how you just bounced back that quick. Like, what made you, like, just snap out of it so quickly? Like, some people will fall, well, many people will fall into a depression. How does BV just bounce back that fast?
In my opinion, I've been told I'm wrong, but I believe 100% it's all about your support system. It's who you surround yourself with. It's your tribe. You know what I mean? And if you're surrounded by all these amazing people in your life, you're only going to have amazing things happen. I feel like, not always 100% of the time, but like, yeah, you know, you can have a lot of good things happen. And that's just my honest opinion. I had a support system that maybe, and this is where I don't really understand, but I'm glad it happened to me and didn't happen to someone else, because maybe maybe that person didn't have the support system that I did. Wow. You know, I have my entire family. I have, which is, my direct family is massive. I mean, Andrea, my fiance, she legitimately nursed me back to health. I'll give her 100% credit on all of that. She did, and she stuck by my side. That was some loyal stuff. Yeah. And that's the heavy hitter stuff about this culture that a lot of people don't really talk about, is that gnarly medical side of stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's really hard to talk about for a lot of people. But for me, I'm just so grateful for my mom, my dad, Andrea, my grandma. I mean, everyone's been around. You know what I mean? The Insanos MC, massive. I mean, they literally stayed. When I got hit, it was sent out that I was hit and by this drunk driver, and I had lost my leg. Well, these people literally rode over to all the way, like, past like 25, like, it seems like anyways, like, hospitals along the way to get to where I'm at. They come and get over there to where I'm at, and they are standing at the window praying and hoping that is me, and they just see a little light in the window praying that that's me, that I'm going to make it through the night. And I had no idea that any of this was happening. When I woke up, I had no idea until I started reading some texts, Yeah. I had no idea that even happened. That's how I kind of knew, because when my mom and dad were there, and no one was allowed to see me. No one was allowed. When I was in the hospital, no one was allowed to see me for like the first, I forget, exact days, but it was like 12, 13 days before I could even see a family member. And all I could do was FaceTime. You know what I mean? It was rough.
Of COVID, right?
Because the whole COVID thing, you couldn't allow anybody to come in or out, with the hospital unless you were a patient,
Yeah.
So it was rough, it was really rough. But ironically, it wasn't the roughest thing ever, though. For me, I was getting called by so many people at so many times, so much, I couldn't keep up with people hitting me up.
Yeah.
People are calling me, checking to see how I am. After I got off the phone with that live, you were on me. We exchanged phone numbers right away. We were talking back and forth like every single day. Up until today, we have literally talked like damn near every single day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what brotherhood is. That's what I keep wanting to show everyone is it doesn't always have to be as extreme as this leg thing. It doesn't always have to be extreme as that. It doesn't have to be that extreme. Why can't it be when a brother's going through a divorce? Hey, yeah. I'm with you, man. Like, I'm here to support you, like, at all costs. Put that same drive 100% all the time into all those situations. That's real talk.
Yeah. So what message do you have for someone that has gone through a situation similar to yours? What do you have to say to them if they're on that hospital bed and they're in that position where they're either going to fall into a depression, feel sorry for themselves and lay in the bed for a year, or they decide to, take it to the next level and just embrace it? Like, what is your message to those people?
Well, this is going to be a long answer. I'm just going to prepare you on that. First of all, I think the biggest thing that helped me is that there's this part of the story I haven't told you yet, and I think it's the best part, is that there's this man named Jeff George. And this man, he was a random civilian on a little electric bicycle. And this man never wears jeans, and according to him, he never wears jeans and he never wears a belt. He hasn't worn a belt since like a couple weddings ago, you know what I mean? And this man happened to wear jeans because it was cold and his jeans didn't fit him, so he wore a belt. And it just so happened that very belt was the very thing that saved my life as well.
Wow.
If it weren't for his belt, I would have bled out. And to the bleeding out part, when I originally looked down and when I told you I had to accept this if I lived through this, what I was seeing at that very moment is every time my heart would pump, blood would come out of my leg.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It was just going, and it would just spurt, like it was just going.
Yeah.
And I kind of like laid back, like I couldn't move, right? My whole back is broken. I'm trying to get my own belt, you know what I mean? But I can't move my arms or nothing because my whole back is messed up. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't even tourniquet myself. So this man comes up, running up at last second, and he throws, he takes off his belt right away. He doesn't say anything right at first. He puts the tourniquet on me, and I'm like, dude, I'm bleeding out. And he goes, you ain't, I'm gonna die. He goes, you ain't dying today. You ain't dying today. And he put his leg on my leg and pulled his belt. And that's the way he saved my life and stopped the bleeding until the paramedics got there.
Wow.
And this is going to get all. This is all going to get answered. The message I want to send across is when I got thrown into that ambulance after I had been saved by so many reasons by that helmet. The very first thing that I hit when I hit the ground was the actual curb of the sidewalk. and that was the first thing that my head hit. So that was the roughest thing, you know. But then the second was the leg, you know, bleeding out. I've already survived all this way. I get into the paramedic, I feel everything. I'm in insane pain. I mean, 1,000 out of 10 pain. And they shot me up twice with fentanyl in the paramedic and in the ambulance. And it's incredible because it felt like water.
Wow.
Like there was zero reduction of pain.
Wow.
And so when I finally got to the hospital and they finally put me on the, you know, the whole thing with the UCI or the ICU department or whatever, they put you in a special bed and all that. And once I finally got intubated and I woke up, I was all smiles. I was all smiles because I had already lived through all of that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like 100% a surprise, but I knew I was happy. You know what I mean? And the thing is this just goes to prove that if you have PMA is positive mental attitude. Positive mental attitude will by far take you further than anything else in this world. If you have PMA, you can change not only your life, but you can change others as well. And the reason that I get into that deep of detail of any of this stuff is because, yeah, man, this stuff is really hard. This is really hard and hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, sure, it's hard, but isn't that why we do things? Just because they're hard?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's the whole point of life, is to be able to conquer something and move on to the next. Why can't I conquer this? That's why I was able to hop on a motorcycle in 2 months. That's why, you know, I was able to. Now I'm fully riding at, you know, with zero limitations at 3.5 months. I'm incredibly blessed. You know, as I sit here today, if you stay grateful, for life, that is how you get through the hard times. That's how you get through hard times. That's how you get to the top. That's how you rise above. That's how you rise above all odds. You got to be grateful. And I'm forever grateful for you.
Thank you, brother.